Everyone, my name is Nathan, and welcome to Hail. Today I am ranking all 60 Disney animated movies from the Walt Disney Animation Studio. Actually, that's not true. I am not ranking the 61st one, Strange World, because I have no desire to see that movie. But I have my tier list ready. If you haven't seen my tier categories before, I have all the movies set up right here on my screen. I'm going to quickly go over each of my tiers. It's pretty self-explanatory. Got 11 out of 10. Basically just better than perfect. Really love it. There's perfect, 9 3/4, where it's really close to perfect but didn't quite make it. Great is self-explanatory. Good. Decent is just like, it's fine, and then bad is self-explanatory. So I have them in order of when they were released. I'm releasing this video today specifically because it is Walt Disney's birthday, so happy birthday, Walt. Thanks for a company full of great movies and occasional wokeness. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. I think Snow White is great. It's close to 9 3/4, very close to it, but there are other movies I like more that I can't move Snow White past, and so I'm keeping it in great. A lot of people don't love this one because it's very strange and it goes in very weird directions, but I love Pinocchio. And When You Wish Upon a Star is, in my opinion, the best Disney song of all time. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I definitely put it as the best. I mean, for crying out loud, we hear the song every time we start a Disney movie. So that movie, I'm already putting it in perfect. It's early in the game, but I can't lie, when a movie's perfect, I gotta acknowledge that. I love Pinocchio, I love Jiminy Cricket. I acknowledge it's a very strange movie, but I love it, so it goes there. Fantasia is an awesome time, but the problem is it is not incredibly rewatchable because it is over 2 hours long and it's only music. Great stories, don't get me wrong, but because it's not very rewatchable, I don't love it as much as other people do, but I still think it's great. I'm just gonna put it below Snow White. There's a very sad story within Dumbo. A lot of these older Disney movies just have like really sad stories. There are amazing moments too. I love pink elephants on parade. Also, Dumbo is adorable. I'm going to put Dumbo in great below Fantasia. Bambi is incredible. Very sad movie, traumatized me as a child, but I still really like it. Also, have you ever noticed that Bambi begins the same way as The Lion King and ends the same way as The Lion King? Just thought I would throw that out there. I'm putting Bambi in the great tier, but it's going to be at the very top for now. Saludos Amigos is not very good. It's basically just a documentary with some added in animation. I'm going to go ahead and put it at the top of the Dece category. Then we have the Three Caballeros, which is a movie full of horny birds who just want to get with women, and it's another documentary type Disney movie. It's just not the kind of Disney movie I really care for, and I'm going to put it in Dece as well. Make Mine Music is actually a really good movie. It's very similar to Fantasia, where it's just different segments with music attached to it. There's more speaking in it, but it's a really good time. Not nearly enough people talk about it. I'll put it in good. Fun and Fancy Free is very nostalgic for me. When I was a kid, I loved watching this. We had the VHS for it, and it's a very strange movie, especially the bear slapping segment. The way you show your love for a bear is by slapping it. And obviously the Mickey and the Beanstalk segment with Donald, Goofy, and Mickey is very fun to watch. The live action stuff is a little creepy with the ventriloquist. It kind of creeped me out as a kid, but I still really like this one. I'm going to put it in good just behind Make Mine Music. Melody Time is another good one, very similar to Make Mine Music. I'm just going to go ahead and put it at the bottom of good. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is one that I rewatched this last October, and I really like the Mr. Toad segment. I'm not a huge fan of the Ichabod segment. I think it takes way too long to actually get to the Headless Horseman segment, and that's really what I'm there for. And so because of that, I'm going to put it in Dece, but I will put it at the top. Okay, I have my first controversial opinion here. I'm not the biggest fan of Cinderella. It's a good story. It has A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes and everything, which is an iconic Disney song, but when it comes to rewatching Disney movies, I just don't really care to ever rewatch this one. In fact, I rewatched it the other day and just was very bored the whole time. I'm going to put it in Dece, which is the controversy here, but I'm going to put it at the top of Dece because I do think it's the best of the 4 that are in there so far. Alice in Wonderland is great. I love how zany it is, how crazy it is, and Alice is one of my favorite Disney characters ever. I'm going to put it in great above Snow White, but behind Bambi. Then we have Peter Pan, which is super iconic. I love the characters in this, and also I've been in a huge villainous phase recently, and Hook is a great character to play as in the board game Villainous. Still haven't won as him. I always get faded and I can never win, but that's another conversation for another day. I'm going to put Peter Pan in great above Alice in Wonderland, but behind Bambi. Okay, so I'm looking at this right now, and I'm actually going to move Alice in Wonderland behind Snow White. Lady and the Tramp is an all-time favorite for me. I really love it. I don't know that it's perfect, only because there are parts of the story that kind of get slower. Like, there are very iconic moments, and I love the character of Lady and Tramp. I love the Bella Notte scene where they're sharing the spaghetti and everything. Very iconic and just pure Disney magic, but I do get bored in other segments of the movie, I'm still going to put it in nearly perfect or 9 3/4. I love Sleeping Beauty. I think it's very iconic. I'm going to go ahead and put Sleeping Beauty in great above Snow White. 101 Dalmatians is another iconic one. Cruella's another villain that I just really like, and so get some points for that, but also the Dalmatians are adorable. I'm going to put 101 Dalmatians in great right behind Alice in Wonderland. Sword in the Stone, that is one that I rewatched just last month actually, and it was the first time I had seen it in a long time, and I forgot how incredible the Sword in the Stone is. I'm going to put it in 9 3/4 behind Lady and the Tramp. Oh my goodness, and then we have another great one, The Jungle Book. I'm going to put The Jungle Book automatically in 9 3/4 behind Sword in the Stone. Really love Jungle Book, just great characters. Baloo is probably the best character out of the movie, I would say, but I love a lot of the characters. I'm pretty sure I like the Aristocats more than a lot of people do, but I love cats and I love the movie. It's very nostalgic for me. For whatever reason, as a kid, I love that scene where they like dip their paws in paint and then go on the piano, and the jazzy cats in the club are so cool. I love Aristocats. I'm going to put it in 9 3/4 behind The Lady and the Tramp. Oh my goodness, Disney just had a really good string of movies because I also love Robin Hood. I'm putting Robin Hood in 9 3/4 at the very bottom. Not even gonna lie, I absolutely love Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Really all the characters are adorable, but in their own ways, but Pooh is just so funny to watch. Whether he's speaking or not, if you just watch him, his facial expressions, I can't help but laugh. I'm putting Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in perfect behind Pinocchio. I love The Rescuers. I grew up on this for sure, had the VHS. I really just love Bernard. Like there was a time where my Disney Plus profile was definitely Bernard because that's an option. I think that's a great option to have. I'm gonna put it in great behind 101 Dalmatians. The Fox and the Hound is a special movie for me. With time and more rewatches, I think the movie is a bit dated, and not with a story or anything, but just with like the score, like the harmonicas really annoy me, and then the songs, I don't like the songs. Like the Best of Friends song by the Owl, I don't like that song like at all, but I still love The Fox and the Hound for the message of friendship, and the final battle with the bear and then them protecting each other in the end is incredible. I'm going to put The Fox and the Hound at the very top of great. The Black Cauldron is one that I thought on a revisit I would like it more, but I still just think it's decent. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right behind The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Great Mouse Detective is a good one. I will go ahead and put it at the top of good tier. Really just like the Sherlock Holmes story, but with mice, it's incredible. And also Dawson is an amazing sidekick. Oliver and Company was such a disappointment on a rewatch. And like the movie isn't awful, but I was more so sad because it was one of those movies that I loved as a kid. And then rewatching it, it just didn't hit like it did as a kid. I still love the song Why Should I Worry? Dodger is a great Disney character. Unfortunately, it's not as good watching as an adult. I will still put it at the top of Dees though. This next string of Disney movies, we're starting the Renaissance, and so this is going to be absolutely insane. The Little Mermaid, I'm going to put in 9 3/4. Some of these movies are good by default, but I've just seen them so many times, so they lose a few points because I just like have no interest in rewatching them kind of thing. However, I say The Little Mermaid is in the conversation for best Disney soundtrack. I love so many songs in this movie. There's Part of Your World, Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, Poor Unfortunate Souls. It definitely makes it in this tier at the top. Then we have Rescuers Down Under, which a lot of people like more than the first one, and I absolutely disagree on that. I'm going to put it in Dees above Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I just don't really care for it, and I really do think it's because I didn't grow up on it. And then we have The Beauty and the Beast, which is the only one out of all these that was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. I'm going to put it in 9 3/4 just behind The Little Mermaid. Earlier I mentioned When You Wish Upon a Star is the best Disney song by default, but I think Beauty and the Beast might be my favorite Disney song. I don't know, it changes, but I love the song Beauty and the Beast and that whole sequence of them dancing. Aladdin is another movie that I grew up on, of course. Love the music, the performances, iconic story. Genie is amazing. The voice of Aladdin, like his singing voice, is really good. Probably one of my favorite like male singing voices of Disney canon. I'm going to go ahead and put Aladdin behind Beauty and the Beast. Then we have The Lion King, which if you haven't picked up on it, I really like this movie. I'm just gonna go ahead and put Lion King in the 11 out of 10 tier. You know what? Let's change this right here to the King category. I almost didn't want to do that because it makes Perfect not look as good, but trust me, Perfect is still good. The Lion King is just a very personal movie to me. I have videos on this channel talking about why I love the movie so much, so just watch that video if you want to know why, but I'll just leave it at this. I love The Lion King. It is amazing. Then there is Pocahontas, which I don't think is bad. I actually do think it's a good movie. I'm going to go ahead and put it behind Make Mine Music. I really love the deleted sequence, If I Never Knew You. I think that's what the song is called. It's a really good song. The problem with Pocahontas is that I just never feel like rewatching this movie. And I have tried too, and I just get bored. But I know it's good because I know there's like good music and I remember the story well enough. But because it's not rewatchable to me, I think that loses some points for it. Hunchback of Notre Dame is an incredible movie. If The Lion King didn't exist, I might say The Hunchback has the best score for a Disney film. I'm going to go ahead and put it in perfect and put it at the top for now. Pinocchio, get out of the way. Hunchback of Notre Dame, top of the tier for perfect for now. It's incredible. It's a heartbreaking tale. At the same time, it's a beautiful tale. Out There and Beauty and the Beast are up there for my favorite Disney song. I also just love the character of Quasimodo. You can't help but love him. He is so broken and you want what's best for him. And so it's very hard to watch this movie, but you're also watching it cheering him on the whole time. So it's a great time. And I really do think it's a perfect Disney movie. Another hot take coming at you. I'm not a big fan of Hercules. I didn't grow up with it, and that definitely plays a role. Pretty much any Disney movie that I didn't grow up with, they are at a disadvantage. I'll be completely honest. This is a subjective list. I can say that. I'm going to go ahead and put Hercules above Cinderella and Dees, but I will say I love the song Go the Distance. That's a great song. Come on. I can't deny that. Mulan is a great movie. Make a Man Out of You. Be a Man. I'll Make a Man Out of You. Whatever that song is called, where they all sing about being a man. That's my favorite song out of the movie, but I also love the Reflection song. I'm going to put Mulan right behind The Fox and the Hound in the great category. Tarzan has an amazing score and an amazing soundtrack from Phil Collins, but come on, I'm a broken record. Everyone says this about Tarzan, but that's really what I like about it. That's what stands out for me. I'm going to go ahead and put it in great, but at the bottom of the list. Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 are basically twins to me. I think they are both incredible. I'm going to put it in great right now, just below the first Fantasia. Fantasia 2000 has a chance of beating Fantasia someday. I know Fantasia is more iconic, but I really, really love the different segments in Fantasia 2000. It suffers from the same thing as Fantasia. Yes, it's shorter, but it's still just not very rewatchable. I'm going to put Dinosaur in good, above Pocahontas, but behind Make Mine Music. This is one that I actually grew up with. It came out when I was a kid, but we did have the VHS and I liked it a lot. And I've seen it recently and I remember even as an adult still enjoying it. The Emperor's New Groove is great, but come on, it's not like I'm the first one telling you that. I'm going to put it in the great tier right below The Rescuers. And I think that The Emperor's New Groove is the funniest Disney movie out of all of these. We've got another case of not growing up with the movie Atlantis. We did not own a copy of it. I don't know why, but we just didn't. So I did not grow up with it. Didn't see it for the first time until actually probably 2 or 3 years ago. For that, I've actually only seen it once too, but I remember my opinion enough that I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm going to go ahead and put it behind Fun and Fancy Free in the good tier. Lilo and Stitch is great. It has an amazing message about family and it's funny and it's actually an early 2000s Disney movie that works really well in my opinion. I'll put it behind Emperor's New Groove in the great tier. Goodness gracious, this is filling up fast. All right, and then we have Treasure Planet, which Treasure Planet is one that I grew up with. I love Treasure Planet. I've seen it fairly recently. I think it's a great movie. I'm going to put it behind Peter Pan and above Sleeping Beauty. Brother Bear to me is one of my favorite Disney movies and I'm going to go ahead and just move it up right now. It is behind Aladdin in the 9 3/4 tier. The Phil Collins soundtrack in Brother Bear I would argue is even better than the Tarzan soundtrack. The music is beautiful. I love the story and also I just like the setting too. We're not in the same setting as something like Robin Hood or Jungle Book. It's new to be in the snow and to kind of see a different culture and everything, and so I think that's really cool and a strength that Brother Bear has going for it as well. But mostly I just love the music in it. It's kind of a compliment that I'm more than halfway done with this and I haven't put a movie in the bad tier, but I'll go ahead and change that right now and put Home on the Range there. And while I'm in that tier, I'm just going to go ahead and move Chicken Little there too. 2 movies that I don't want to spend time on. They're not good. Meet the Robinsons is one I had to watch recently because I did not remember it too well. It was fine. I think it was a little too obnoxious. I'll just go ahead and put it behind Black Cauldron in the Dees tier. I haven't seen Bolt in a minute, but I remember how I feel about it. And I actually like this one more than I would expect me to like a movie like this. It's not that bad. I actually think it's pretty good. I will put Bolt behind Pocahontas in the good tier. Princess and the Frog is one that I actually didn't care for like ever. And then I rewatched it last month and for the first time in my life, I considered it a great movie. I love the bayou scene. I love Louis or Louis. I love the alligator. Plus, I really appreciate the 2D animation, something that obviously we don't get anymore. And for it being basically the last 2D animated film from Disney, at least the last 2D princess animated film, has that going for it. I definitely think it's great, but I'm still warming up to it. So I'll put it in the great tier, but I'm going to put it behind Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. Tangled is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to go ahead and move it right now. It goes in the 9 3/4 tier, but it's going to make it to the top of the list. I will say, when I think of like the floating lantern scene and the songs that come out of this and how beautiful the animation style is, I can't deny that it's still incredible. Okay, so just a few more left. This next one is kind of a funny ranking because I love the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh, having it in my perfect tier. However, I'm not a fan of the new one. I'm going to go ahead and put it in bad. Oh, I did this wrong. Home on the Range needs to be last place. And then Chicken Little's at the top, and I'm going to put Winnie the Pooh right there. Home on the Range is last. Don't mistake that. Winnie the Pooh, it's just not funny to me. It doesn't have the same wit of the original mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I'm not a fan of it. It's crazy, I know. Wreck-It Ralph is an awesome movie. However, it is tarnished by annoying Vanellope. She is possibly the most annoying Disney character in all of these movies to me. I cannot stand her voice. She drives me crazy. So when bad things happen to her in Wreck-It Ralph, I don't feel bad for her at all. I don't necessarily wish bad things upon her, but when they do happen to her, I don't feel bad. I'm going to put it in good behind Great Mouse Detective, because I still think Wreck-It Ralph is a good movie. At one point, I even thought it was like 9 3/4. But Vanellope really brings it down. I still do love the story, though, of even being a bad guy, you can still be a good guy kind of thing. Frozen is that movie that everyone knows about, but I feel like people's rankings are different because you're either very annoyed of it or you just love it. Okay, that's not true because I'm in the middle. I think it's great. I don't love it as much as some people. I don't hate it as much as some people. I'm going to put it in great, but I'll put it at the very bottom of the tier. I cannot deny Let It Go. That whole sequence is incredible. Big Hero 6 goes beneath Bolt in the good category. I really do wish that I liked Zootopia as much as other people do. I've seen it more than once, and so I feel like I have a fair opinion on it. I still think it's a great movie, but I'm going to put it just above Frozen in the great tier, so it's towards the bottom of the list. Moana is another great movie. I'm going to put it below Snow White, I think. I love the song How Far I'll Go. That is an incredible song. Although it's played like 3 times in the movie, I'm pretty sure it never gets old. And that's really, honestly, my favorite thing about Moana. Ralph Breaks the Internet is not good. It's not awful. I'm going to put it in Dece, just right above Three Caballeros. Frozen 2, I actually think is a great movie. I'm going to go ahead and put it below the first Frozen movie. I really like the song Show Yourself, and it's like the equivalent to the Let It Go song in the first movie. Just very magical and pure Disney. But I will say something I failed to mention earlier is that Olaf is the same tier as Vanellope with annoying Disney characters. I cannot stand Olaf, so he is lucky that he made it into the great tier 2 times. Then we have Raya and the Last Dragon. I've only seen it once. It was in theaters. I'll put it behind Pocahontas. It was in theaters, beautiful animation and a good story, but nothing that like was mind-blowing. So I'll just keep it in good. And then I have Encanto, which I'm going to go ahead and put at the bottom of decent. The animation is really beautiful and it gets points for that, but I just don't like the story. There's no like real main villain. There's not one song in this movie that I like. In fact, I find all the songs incredibly annoying in this movie, and I think that's about it with Encanto. It's just a pretty annoying movie and the characters are very obnoxious and it annoys me a lot. So I'll put it at the bottom of Dece, but I can't yet call it bad because I don't think it's as bad as the 3 that are in bad. So here it is in review. I will say this is all in order, of course, and so the top 10 goes from The Lion King to Lady and the Tramp, if you were wondering. And then everything after that is as follows. Someday I might watch Strange World. I just don't have an interest in watching it today. If I were to define my taste, I mean, it's clear from the ranking. It's definitely Renaissance/classic Disney. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.